everyone. Welcome to the ninth episode of the podcast series featuring interviews with women who stammer, sharing their inspiring stories with others. Uh, Today, our guest is Nidhi Vij, the founder of Happiness After Cancer, a support group of, by, and for cancer warriors. Through her group, Nidhi has helped many cancer patients find strength and community support, on their cancer journeys. Her strength is evident not only as a cancer survivor, but also in how she has successfully navigated the experiences with stammering. And also, in the when I saw the chat messages that we had in WhatsApp, what went through in my mind is that I felt like your journey is very much similar to that of a journey of a phoenix, because you were, able to find the strength within the struggle and was able to rise above it with so much of fervor. So it's a remarkable show of your character. Thank you so much, Nidhi, for coming here, and we are honored to have you in our podcast. Thank you.
Thank you, Vidya, for so many kind words. I'm not sure if I deserve all of them, but yes, it's a pleasure to be here for basically two reasons. A, and the primary reason is that I know what it is to be a stutterer. I know how traumatic it can be. Um, I know how challenging it can be. So I've often thought in my head, but I may be articulating it for the first time to someone because it was always in my head. There's a very borderline similarity between cancer and stuttering. And I'll tell you how, Vidya. When you're diagnosed with cancer, you're fearful. You are fearful. Why? Because you're scared of dying. And when you're a stutterer, you are fearful because you are, at least I was when I was a young girl, I was fearful about my living because it was hampering my day to day. So here it was fear of dying, there it was fear of living. So this, I think it's the first time I'm articulating it, but it was there in the back of my head. Oh my God, second time again. Because I do not know, I'm sure things have improved now a lot. Well, at the onset for girls who are there here, and for boys, I'm 51. And okay, I think I should wait for Vidya to ask questions instead of rattling on. This is about it,
No,
Vidya.
you can continue. You were in the flow, and I was invested in hearing you. Please.
Okay. So, okay. To tell you about myself, it wouldn't be wrong to say that I consider myself a genetic stutterer. Why do I use this word? Because my chachaji, like chachaji is, uh, and okay, for the record, is it okay if I talk in English or do you want it to be English, Vidya? Hindi and English both, or English is all right?
In, English and Hindi both also works. Uh, I think both should work because
Because I want it to be understood by a larger majority of girls.
and then in
That's why
that case, I think both will be better.
both.
Yes,
ठीक
if
है,
is
all
it
right.
okay with you?
So,
Yeah.
okay, coming back to this, my chacha ji, that is my father ke chote bhai, he stutters. He is 80, I think 80. He stutters. My taya ji, that's my father's elder brother, he also stutters. He's 85. My father's bua, she is no more. She also stuttered, and her son, who is a doctor, who's retired now, he was a professor in Ames, he also used to stutter, but he overcame it. And my mom, I won't say she's a stutterer, but a little bit mildly, let's say.
Mhm.
So well, nobody's told me this, no doctor, no speech therapist, but if I look at my family tree, I would say that, well, yes, I'm a genetic stutterer. I was a genetic stutterer. So that's a little background. I think I stuttered badly. When I say badly, I mean it was that bad that I could barely say a line. As we all know, introducing myself, I am Nidhi, was like impossible. Impossible is the word. And I stammered till about the age of maybe 17, and that was very traumatic. And I wouldn't say, as we say, as all these celebrities say, that I also believe very firmly that I can never say I'm totally cured of my stuttering. No, I still believe in my head that I stutter. There are situations, obviously, as we all know, आज excitement hai, आज nervousness hai, I'm stressed out, I'm angry, and the words she will just refuse to. Just now, it was I had called just pay, they will refuse to come out. So that's a little thing. And now you can ask Vidya.
No, I mean, like when you were younger, when you were stuttering, how was the support system then? Was it people were aware of it? And now, as it changed, so do you observed any changes in the support system from then and now?
Okay. I would say that I was, let's say, lucky because there were so many stutters in the family. So it was for me, inside the family wasn't a problem. Okay. So everybody was stammering, so it was okay. By the my like first cousin also stammers. He's 1 month younger to him, that makes him 51 also, and he's hardcore stutterer, really, and he hasn't improved. Okay, now that's another interesting aspect. Remind me if I forget to talk about it. So to answer your question, that support system. So मेरे घर में तो obviously it was nice. Okay. Everybody was supportive and my parents were very well aware. I'm an army officer's daughter. तो वो बहुत जगह speech therapy पे लेते गए, and the usual stuff, you put stones under your tongue and then you blow the conch and then you do shirshasana, you stand on your head with your legs up and you take garlic and honey. Everything was done. But school was traumatic, very, very traumatic. And for the record, I was always a tall girl. I mean, now I might not look since I'm sitting around. I'm 5'7", and I reached my full height when I was maybe in class 6. Now, this is interesting. And to top it off, since my father was an army officer, every 2 years we used to pack our bags and go to a new city. Naya शहर, naya school, नए लोग,
Oh
and trauma is all over again. Okay. And I did not go to Kendriya Vidyalas. My father had, saying, oh, my girl should study in convent school. So I went there. And I realized that it was bad. Very, very bad. I hated myself. उस जमाने में क्या होता था विद्या? We used to have these school classrooms, and there were, children sitting and they used to read English or Hindi. Acha, till the first row, fifth child has finished. So in tomorrow's class, the sixth row, the sixth child will read. So I had become so manipulative. I actually used to calculate and make sure that I don't sit there when my turn is going to come. Why? Because I will be asked to read and the words would not come out and people would make fun. The very sad part of this whole thing is why I'm telling now is in the hope that if there are teachers among us, one teacher I actually heard and I was in class 5th. She said, अब ये लड़की बोलेगी और मेरा दिमाग खराब हो जाएगा.
oh my, that
And
is
that was very, very traumatic. Of course, I kept quiet. It haunted me in my dreams and it went on and on. And there was such nightmares. Often I would wake up in sweat, and I thought, sometimes I used to dream of murdering her. It was that much. In my head, I used to hate her so much. And she was a Hindi teacher and I didn't want to attend her class. So, and one thing, unfortunately, I strongly believe is Hindi movies are rotten when it comes to, people like us. They make fun of us in their
yeah.
movies. They're very fond of, oh, ये तो हकलाता है. And their jokes are all about, oh, चलो comedy बनाते हैं, तो can't you improve your sense of humor? Why do you have to show a हकलाता हुआ बच्चा or
Yeah.
adult?
The representation of people who stammer in Indian media is so pathetic. That is no
Very
doubt in
pathetic.
that.
So to answer your question, support system inside the house very, very good, but outside very traumatic. Indians, unfortunately, lack empathy. We don't understand the word. हमें समझ ही नहीं आता है. So, so that was it. Now, if I think about it, I'm not very sure things have improved. Of course, home front where things have improved dramatically, but society, I'm not sure. Why do I say it? Because in my neighborhood, there's this little grocery store, and the ones which we have in the neighborhood, and that owner is a stutterer. So, and he's like doing well, he's made houses, and yet he's always referred to as, what? वो जो तोतले की दुकान है, वो जो हकलाने वाले की दुकान है.
What's the totle means?
Okay, totla is, I think, I'm not sure the English version of somebody between stammering and lisping,
Oh, okay, okay,
so in
okay.
between. And sometimes he lisps, sometimes he stammers. I believe he stammers because I can identify very quickly, obviously. So, Ajbi, why do you need to address him like that? His shop has a name called like Sri Ram Store. Call him by that name. Why do you need to call him Haklana? And so I'm not sure how improved is it in schools. But
Mm,
well, counselors are there, so I hope and keep my fingers crossed that things might be better. Sorry, I'm sorry.
no.
So this is to answer your question.
Okay. What you said is very true, and especially when teachers, where we actually, I mean, whom we look up to, becomes the uh, cause of the problem, then where do we go as a children, right? Like, I hope in school it is a little bit better now. And and as you said about, I mean, Sachin sir has a nice way of putting the I mean, we have to take the ownership of the word in the word. Can you repeat the word?
Yeah, Haklana.
Aklana, huh? Haklana.
Haklana.
So, yeah, he used to say something like that. Uh, Instead of uh, fighting against it, we need to take the ownership of it, and we need to tell what it is instead of others defining it. We need to do that. So he told it in a very much better way than what I'm saying now.
I totally
Um,
agree. Mhm.
um, yeah, and then you wanted me to remind you about your cousin, a younger
Oh,
cousin
yeah.
who's yeah.
That's interesting story. Now, this children, since I'm the eldest, so I call all of you children. Children, this is very interesting. Where another cousin of mine, my chacha's beta, even he stammered. Okay. Now, he stays in Bombay. He went on to become the head boy of his school. Imagine.
Okay.
He did engineering. For the record, my stammering affected my studies also. Because I didn't want to go to school. Now, this cousin of mine, on the other hand, he was bindas about it. He didn't
Oh,
care at all. At all means at all. At all.
wow.
As a result, he went on to become the head boy of the school. He did engineering. He had a girlfriend. He got married to her. And they've been happily married for whatever, 27
While
years.
stammering,
Yes.
oh wow, that is, yeah, wow, that's wonderful.
So this I believe in my head, it is very commendable for me. Because for me, I overcame stammering when I was 17. That's first year of college. So since then, well, now I would say I've learned the art. I know how to go about it, how to modulate my voice. I know when a block is going to come and I'm able to rectify it in my head. So I know the technique which I can share with other people, other children if you want. It's totally, I went to the speech therapist, by the way, in Ames for about 2 months. That cousin of mine, who was a doctor in Ames, he took me there because he had also been cured. So, but this cousin of mine is amazing. आज की डेट में भी उसकी स्टैमरिंग में कोई इंप्रूवमेंट नहीं हुई है. Zero. He still stammers. as badly as you used to do then. And when we were young, I used to tell him, Ritesh, why don't you go and take some classes? Look, I've improved. He said, I don't want to. I'm very good the way I am. So what we're talking for
Yeah.
acceptance, well, that's
Ex-
another candidate in front
yeah,
of us.
that yeah. Actually, it's it's a good way to see one stammering in a very positive light. I think that is it's a very very wonderful quirk, if you say. I mean, if I'm allowed to say that, because uh, yeah, it's a very interesting aspect of somebody. So we need to.
That's why I told you, remind me. This is very important. While there were two children in the same family, and well, there wasn't any discriminations of gender bias. कोई नहीं था हमारे घर में. That because my dad was an army officer and a very progressive house. So we didn't have those problems. But here were two children. One was struggling, who was me, who was shy and whatever trauma. And the other hand, there was another boy, same age group. We are only 2 months apart. I'm born in December. He was born in November, a month younger, older than me. And he was bindas about it. That's it.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
So I think it's the way you look at it life. So अगर यहाँ बच्चे हैं यहाँ पे, of course सारे बच्चे हो मेरे सामने तो, so learn from this cousin of mine, this man now who's a boy once. For him it was okay. He took it in his stride. He still takes it in his stride. My chacha till date he stammers. My tahaji he till date they all stammer. No improvement. But they took it in their stride. And I, on the other hand, so I would say I was perhaps the weaker one. Well, I did manage to overcome my stammering. That's story for another day. But if you look at the mental thing, they were far more superior to what I was.
I understand. It's very humbling to for you to say this. Thank you. Um, So my next question for you is, I would say, like, I have not faced the challenges of cancer, and I am a person who stammers. I don't want to presume to understand the journey of self-acceptance of cancer. So as someone who has navigated both these experiences, you already spoken about certain similarities, but in the stages of self-acceptance, do you find any similarities or differences between these two?
Yes, there's a lot of similarity. A, stigma. सबसे पहले तो stigma. That's not going anywhere. आपको कैंसर है तो भी well now it's people are coming out in the open but still educated people, low lying like uneducated people, rich, I've seen super rich people still they want to hush hush tones, नहीं बात करनी इसके बारे में.
Yeah, yeah.
ठीक है, स्टिग्मा तो है, सोसाइटी है. A. B, important, body image issues. You lose your hair. Okay. For the record, I'm a breast cancer survivor. So I lost my breast. I've got mastectomy done. Again, self-image, body acceptance. You lose your hair, your everything, your facial, everything is gone, for like 1.5 years or so. And the most important thing is that fear. In stammering, we live with the fear of living. कि कल मेरी कोई presentation है, तो मैं वहाँ stammer ना कर जाऊँ. I might have to go for a job interview. I might have to go to something. I have to get married. And okay, in my case, I've got two boys now. When I have my first child, and at the age of around 3 years, my son, he came back from school and he said, mama. And the word didn't come out of his mouth. And I will be honest, I conceived him when he was 27, and I was mortified. The only thing which crossed my mind then was, oh my God, अब मेरा बेटा तो नहीं करेगा stammer. I have to be honest with you kids. I can't be faking it all. So I was very scared. And I rushed him to speech therapist. And then we realized, well, he didn't stammer. It was maybe a block, which is the usual, the childhood thing. He didn't stammer, but I was scared. So what I'm bringing is fear. Cancer patients live with the fear, हमारा cancer recurrence तो नहीं हो जाएगा. Will it come back to us? It stays with us with all our lives. Same with stammering. It's there with us all our lives. We learn to manage it. We learn to manage our cancer. We learn to manage our stammering. third point, most important, community support. Lacks in stammering hugely. I'm so grateful when I came across your TISA. I was thrilled when I came to know from somebody. And I just joined and I asked this person to make me join the group. I was a little active during COVID, but of course, so many things were happening. So I kept quiet. I'm a silent member. Sorry, children, but I have been reading the messages and floored, I would say. I would, hats off, full marks to your Sachin sir and the other people who founded this thing. It's very heartening. Support is important everywhere. Community support. There in cancer also, you feel lonely, you feel isolated. Um, Author is there, Amy Hormone or something. She uses a very beautiful line. I saved it in my phone since let's put, hang on, girls, let me say, it's very interesting line, which I say. She says, and hang on, children. Okay, there is comfort in the knowledge that you don't suffer alone.
Yeah.
So this, I think you were talking about the similarities. So this is a similar thing for cancer, similar thing for us stammerers. The moment when I was, there was a cancer survivor. That's how I came introduced to TISA. There was a cancer survivor and I was talking to her. And then while she was speaking to me, I realized she stutters. So, of course, I couldn't answer point blank, but after about half an hour of talking, I said, do you mind, Aditi, if I ask you something? She said, sure, ma'am, bolo. I said, आप stammer करते हो? She said, हाँ, ma'am. आपको समझ नहीं आया? I'm sorry. I said, नहीं, don't be sorry because I am a stutterer. So she was like, it was, like, we just connected instantly.
Yeah.
So support, community support. That's the same thing for cancer. You meet a cancer patient or who's walked that path before you, instant connection. So community support.
Wow. You have explained it, in a way that we can relate to it quite well, even though the journey of cancer is much alien to us.
I hope it
Thank
stays alien to all of you. I pray to the Almighty, all of you stay healthy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
One thing more, Vidya. Sorry, one thing I'm going to cut because there's so many points I had jotted. I don't want to miss this beautiful opportunity, children. One thing, I know it says off the record for this particular platform, but since cancer is spreading like an epidemic, children, I would say one thing to you. Science is not proved as of now. I'm sure in a matter of few years, they'll come out with it. Stress plays an important role in our lives. I am no one, children, to say that, why did I get cancer? It might be anything. But I firmly believe that stress could have been the reason. I was a very stressful child. I had a very stressful childhood. Even as an adult, I was stressed out. So, children and girls and boys on this platform who are listening to me today, please, please work on your stress levels. Stammering is part of one thing. Yes, we don't have to stammer, or we have to not, wrong statement. We have to learn to manage our stammering, but don't let it overcome your very being. That stress might lead to something very dangerous later on.
So true.
So, yeah.
No, you are absolutely right when it comes to stress. Stress and stammering, because it has very close connection to, anxiety. I am a very anxious person. So when you say that, it's like you're saying it to. You are directly telling it to my soul and mind and body. Thank you so much for that. I have to keep on hearing it to make myself much more
Make a
calm.
wallpaper. I've made my phone wallpapers, don't be anxious. Life is uh the sky is not falling down. Nidhi, relax, relax. Because I've realized stress, I know it's an overused word these days. Stress mat karo, don't be stressful. But we just say it without actually, putting it inside us. That not to be stressful. Breathe, breathe, deep breathe. So
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nidhi. In continuation with the previous question, I also wanted to, ask about the uh, cross learnings between these two journey. For example, I mean, I don't want to oversimplify your experience, but just for an example, the resilience that you have built by managing stammering, has it helped you in in your journey of self acceptance of cancer?
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
Because a large number of breast cancer survivors, when they lose a body organ, for breast cancer survivors, it might be a breast. For other people, it might be a arm or a hand or anything it might be. Acceptance is not easy. See, we are all human beings. We try to. So for me, it became far more easier because I had already been walking that path for years. By the way, I was 41 when it's been 9 years since I've been a cancer warrior now. So I was 41 when I was diagnosed, and my parents tell me that I was around 5 or 6 when I started stammering. So I guess from 5 to 41, I'd already been working on resilience. So it became very easy for me to accept that, all right, I only have one breast now. It was all right for me. I don't have hair on my head. It's okay. It doesn't matter to me anymore. And that's what I tell people, when we have this community things of support, cancer support. That's so to answer your question, yes, resilience helped me a lot.
Wow. Are there any part of you think in the acceptance of self acceptance of cancer, uh, what what learnings that you can tell that can actually help people who stammer, like uh, in that way, in the cross learning from the cancer, what can be learned which we can apply for stammering?
Okay. The first and foremost, I would say, I've mentioned earlier also, fear,
Mm.
anxiety, fear of the unknown.
Mm, mm, mm.
You know what? Because विद्या, हम सबको डर लगता है, ये
Mm,
बात तो पक्की है, ठीक है। हम में से कुछ लोग अपने डर को अच्छे से मैनेज कर पाते हैं और कुछ लोग सकम कर जाते हैं,
mm,
ठीक है। सो आई हैव रियलाइज्ड दैट we need to work, as your TISA booklet says, that pamphlet which is so well made, is that mind. We need to manage our fear, and fear is where? In the mind. Heart, I strongly believe, is full of love. Correct? That's okay. Like figuratively, metaphorically, otherwise arteries and muscle and blood is scientifically though. But we say it, heart is full of love. So I guess the fear is in our mind then. And mind say it's anxiety, mind say it is fear. कल क्या होगा, मेरी रिपोर्ट खराब आ जाएगी. Cancer survivors, and I don't want to sound morbid here, but just a one liner. अक्सर होता है, you've gone through one part of your journey and your treatment is finished, and आपके हेड में दुखा तो ओ शिट ब्रेन ट्यूमर हो गया, यहाँ दुखा ओ शिट सर्वाइकल हो गया, ओ शिट ये हो जाएगा. These are fears which we live with, which cancer patients or warriors
yeah,
live with.
yeah.
And stutterers till date, children till date. अभी मैं बोला, hi, my name is Nidhi Vij. It sounds very simple and easy, but trust me, अगर अभी कोई अचानक विद्या, okay, for the record, just write a little note for yourself. In the middle of a conversation, आगे 5-10 minutes, if somebody asks me, अचानक से, मैम आपका नाम क्या था? 99.99% I will say, no, 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 it will not come out. Nidhi will not come out. So
Understand.
why? That because abhi to it's a prepared, I'm cool, in my head. When somebody catches me unawares, it's still a thing. So I like one thing what Hrithik Roshan says, he says very openly, we all know he was a stutterer, right? Sabko pata hai Hrithik Roshan ka. So he says very openly that I don't think you ever can overcome stammering. You only learn to manage it. और मैंने एक और चीज, from my experience, I realized, in fact, I would say my younger son pointed it out to me some years ago. Something happened, so I was just like, that we were going to a parent teacher meeting in school, maybe. So I said that Arastu, my younger son's name is Arastu. So I said, Arastu, agar koi ma'am naam puchegi na, so I'll say Mrs. Vij. He said, Mama. I said, what? He says, Mama, half दुनिया तो वैसे भी अटक के बोलती है. You just more conscious because you think that you will have a block when you say Nidhi. So I resorted to myself saying Mrs. Vij. Convenient because I realized,
Mm.
that no is a block for me. And from whatever I've learned when I help children who come to me, in some in the neighborhood, some in schools or colleges, or through references, for more 99% of the stutterers I've realized, जिस syllable से उनका नाम शुरू होता है ना, वो अक्सर उनके लिए मुश्किल हो जाता है. For me, it's no. For somebody, it's might. For a girl whose name is Anjali, A will never come out of her mouth. वो बहुत मुश्किल है.
Always like that.
Why? Because I realized जब हम अपने आप को इंट्रोड्यूस करने लगते हैं ना, हम इतने ओवरवेल्म हो जाते हैं. ओ माय गॉड, you know that feeling with there, right?
Mm.
That emotion is here till my throat, and as if बस मैं अपना नाम बोल दूं और बस everything will be okay. So
Yeah.
let's start. I started working. I can tell you what I do, what not I did, I do till now. I just decided निधि नहीं निकलता तो ना से. I'm not going to care. I will not be in a rush to speak. Okay, you
Yeah.
can ask me cancer related questions and then I will tell you what works for me. These are small techniques which might help children out here later. Okay. That reminds me, Vidya, sorry to cut you across, but
Yeah.
you asked me a very interesting thing, girls and children, that, there was a English movie, The King's Speech. I don't know. I think The King's Speech,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
उसका जो स्क्रीन प्ले लिखा है ना, some David, I don't know how to pronounce it. I noted it down. Yeah, it's quote by David Seidler, if you pronounce it the right way. ठीक है? For best screen play, he's a stutterer apparently, and he said something very nice.
Oh, I
He's a
didn't know
stutterer.
that.
Children.
I didn't know
Oh
that.
yes,
Oh.
because of his stuttering, he wrote the screenplay for The King's Speech.
Oh my God, I get goosebumps hearing this. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
This is nice.
So he says this thing, if you can live through a childhood of stuttering, you can live through anything. And if you go into adulthood still stuttering, you can handle anything because you have been tempered by the fire.
Wow. Oh, wow. That is wonderful. Oh my God.
For me, it's very important. So I made a mental note to say to you kids today when I speak to you children that, this was beautiful. So we are already prepared for life.
Yeah. Such a, oh my God, I'm getting really emotional. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for this,
Yeah.
Nidhi. First of all, to know that the person who wrote the screenplay and it now it becomes even more beautiful. I will definitely go and watch the movie again in a very different light. Actually, seriously, thank you for that, and thanks for iterating the quote. It makes so much of sense. You know how much we are actually thankful for stammering. We never know. Yeah, thank you. My next question is about happiness after cancer. Uh, I have seen some of the uh, videos of your YouTube channel. It's actually inspiring to know the birth of uh, that support group. But I want to ask you that can you talk about the impact it had on you over the years? You being the founder
Nidhi,
of happiness after cancer. What impact that it had on you from the beginning and now?
okay.
Hope I'm making sense.
Yes, you're making a lot of sense, don't worry. Okay, to the very thought of why I started it is very simple.
Yeah.
Again, selfish reasons, very obviously. I realized, again, when I finished my chemotherapy, I swore to myself, like everybody does, भगवान जी इस कीमो रूम में मुझे दोबारा कभी नहीं भेजना, please. I don't want to go back there. But then a day or two, a month maybe must have passed when I went back again for my some small procedure. My oncologist said, "There's a lady over there. Do you think you want to talk to her?" I said, "Okay, I'll go in there." And I walked up to her, and then she started talking. She was very scared, very fearful. And I started talking to her. And then I came out. When I of the room, after talking to her, my husband was waiting outside. I realized I was super happy. And then I realized, why am I happy? Matlab, that's when I realized that for me at least, caring, sharing was very healing. I had still been new in my journey. So there were two ways I could have gone. For some of us, we go the other way that, oh no, I'm going to shut my doors and not go back to it again. But maybe I'm wired differently. A lot of us are. For me, it was like if I talk to other people who are going through their journey, if I can share something from to them from my experiences, I was healing in the process. And at the onset, my dad, who was alive at that point of time, he was very reluctant. My elder son was class 11th. He was a child, but still he was like, "Mom, why do you need to go back to it?" My brother was very reluctant. Of course, because they all wanted, who loved me and they want to share, protect me from going there. Why do you want to relive those experiences and trauma? It is traumatic. It's still new for you. But my husband was very supportive. He said, "Teko jo karna hai kar, as long as it makes you happy." So that's when I started going back there. I started making WhatsApp groups. I started connecting people. And क्या होता है support groups का विद्या? 99% of the times, people think, oh, एक support group में जाओगे ना आप, तो people are going to be very sad and crying and हमको जाना ही नहीं है that way. But it's only once you realize, once you walk into a support group, you realize that no, it's rejuvenating. It's nice to meet people who've been through that journey. It's nice to see women who are celebrating life. It gives you hope. It gives you positivity. For somebody, for example, who's just gone through her surgery, ठीक है, उसका बैग लगा हुआ है, surgery हुई है, and she is low. The moment she meets somebody else in a support group meet who's been maybe 2 months ahead of her and उसको बोलती है बहुत खुशी खुशी, 2 महीने पहले मेरी सर्जरी हुई थी, आपको पता है मेरा बैग लगा हुआ था, but yet I drove the car. It instantly puts that other female in a happy space. Oh, if she could drive the car after 2 days of surgery, maybe I can also do it. Let me try something. So from there, I realized, so for me, I'll tell, it started with a selfish motive of healing myself. It was very therapeutic for me. And so that's the reason. And now I firmly believe that any person, a cancer, can be a lonely journey at times, just like stutterers are. For stammerers, people don't understand us. हमारा पीठ पीछे मजाक उड़ाया जाता है, सामने तो कभी कभी लोग कर ही देते हैं. So it can be a lonely journey. So when you have support groups, it gives you hope. Let no one suffer alone in silence is what I believe, firmly believe.
Wow.
So that's the reason for the inception of Happiness Africans. That's why I work. It's very passionate for me. It's very close to my heart. So to answer your question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing this. Yeah, there is, I mean, there are different ways to look at the problem, and when it's so inspiring to know people are able to come out of the how do I say? I mean, I'm not the right person to say this, to be honest, but from what, as a person who has not had these challenges, for us it looks like you, the the strength with which you started this support group was like giving a life to other people. Like, it looks like
Please.
that.
I'm just
It's
doing
so
my
nice.
1 cent in the ocean. It's nothing big. It's just that, if there's anybody out here, if you know anybody, friend, family, just reach out to them. Just tell them about this support group which exists.
Yeah,
Because,
sure.
that it's very important, especially in the tier 2, tier 3 cities. जहाँ स्टिग्मा भी है, बताना भी नहीं है, छुपाना भी है, इलाज भी कराना है. It can be very lonely for them at times.
I understand. Yeah, I'll move on to the next question now, because in the I believe, I mean, rebuilding lost confidence requires a lot of mental effort. I mean, often we search the confidence outside, and most importantly, it is more of a inward journey where we find that confidence. Could you share your journey of regaining confidence in both your cancer recovery and managing stammering?
Okay, question is very nice, Vidya. But the only thing I hope, because I'm older to you, I can take that liberty
Oh, no,
of
please.
correcting the question. And please, if I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me. I would suggest that instead of talking about cancer, which might be a little morbid for other children out here, let me just talk about the stammering part, which will help all of you.
Yeah, sure, sure.
As I mentioned earlier, so 17, I went to the speech therapist. So he gave me tips. He told me how to handle the blocks, how to breathe. And importantly, he made me realize one thing, that I have to, as you said, confidence comes inward. वो inward कैसे आए? It's not a pill, right, which we can pop in और हमें confidence आ गया. One tip I'm going to say. I know it's going to sound very, oh, she's very spiteful old woman, but trust me, children, it helps. That gentleman, speech therapist, qualified doctor, they told me one thing. He said, जब तुम किसी से बात करती हो ना, एक बात अपने मन में बिठा लो. ये जो सामने बैठा है, ये जो सामने खड़ा है, मैं इससे ज्यादा इंटेलिजेंट हूं, मैं इससे ज्यादा सुंदर हूं, मेरी हाइट 5 feet 7 inches है. Why should I get intimidated? Keep telling this to yourself. When you as a result, initially it used to take me time. कोई नया इंसान मिलता है. I don't know about now, you kids, but आज भी, for me, if I meet something new, someone new, that thing is there inside me. That, oh my God, now I meet a lot of new people all the time since I'm, doing this kind of thing. But abhi bhi वो feeling aati hai. So I instantly count my positive things, which to me, okay, Nidhi, you have done this. Nidhi, you've done this. So relax, 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 Nidhi, relax. So as a result, I'm not saying that we should become arrogant, but there's a very thin borderline, I guess, between being arrogant and confidence. We could be overconfident, and so we've got to manage that thing and make sure that we stay, as you said correctly, confidence तो inward ही आएगा हमें, कोई देगा नहीं हमें. So we will have to reach out, figuratively extend a hand whenever we meet anybody and tell myself in the head, it's okay. ठीक है, I have a presentation to make in front of this interview panel, and ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, मैक्सिमम क्या कर लेंगे, उसे नो बोल देंगे ना. I am not going to rush with my words. So this was my thing, all right? I'm sure everybody's journey is different. Aaj bhi, I have realized one thing. If I speak fast, I will stammer, for me. Okay? Because that speech therapist, God bless his soul, he made me understand one thing. That तुम stammer इसलिए करती हो because your mind works much faster than your thought. तो क्या हो रहा है? तुम्हारी जबान, your tongue is not able to match with the thoughts which come in your mind. So as a result, at times जो sync नहीं होगा वो ऊबड़ खाबड़ होगा. The tongue is the outward thing. A few days or weeks ago, I read on the group, somebody talked about ADHD, and there was another remember ADHD ka thread was
Yeah,
going
there
on.
was a conversation on that.
Okay, yeah. So I was intrigued, and there was this another person who's a psychologist, and she said, well, she's been doing research on it. And I didn't want to answer to that person. I don't know if she is, or he is here today, that I for years have realized this thing. Sometimes, okay, I'm not ADHD, but at times I find myself कि मुझ में कहीं हल्के से symptoms of ADHD तो नहीं है. Not exactly ADHD, I would say, but As a child, I thought I was, oh, मैं stammer करती हूँ. Over the years, I've realized that I'm far more intelligent because मेरा mind एक साथ 10 चीजें process कर रहा है, which my
Mm-mm-mm.
tongue is not able to keep up pace. इसीलिए मैं stammer करती हूँ. ठीक है? So that makes me intelligent than half the people roaming around.
Yeah,
So why should I not be confident?
yeah, we have multi-tier of thinking.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. So we are far more superior to all these people who don't stammer. The only thing is we have to learn that art, that technique of how to make sure that hamara thought in our head and the words which come out, they. Again, for me again, children, English, Hindi are two languages I know predominantly. ठीक है? So I realize that I stammer more in Hindi. Very early I realized that. So मैंने क्या किया? I started speaking more in English. Why? Because Hindi was my mother tongue. ठीक है? तो वहां पे I tend to become, अब नहीं करती, अब भी मुझे, I wouldn't say मैं नहीं करती. When I'm at home with the kids and with my mom and my cousins, I still stammer because I become, वो comfort zone आ जाता है शायद. I speak very fast. So
Okay.
for me, we all have to identify वो कौन सी चीजें हैं जिसमें मेरा, if we had a instrument और हम लगा दें यहाँ पे, मेरा बीपी, figuratively ऊपर जाता है. When am I getting more emotions? For me, these things work. And when I my older son has a friend, वो लड़की है, वो बहुत स्टैमर करती. She went to IIM Kozhikode.
Okay.
वहां ग्रुप डिस्कशन हुआ and she reached out and said, Auntie, yes, a group discussion, and I'm very nervous. And what do I do? I said, let's do this over Zoom. So we practiced and practiced. And she said, Auntie, when I'm talking to you, I'm okay. But वो कल जो unknown faces सामने खड़े होंगे, वहां पे मैं क्या करूं? I've tried closing my eyes. Then I'm okay. I said, just tell yourself. Tell yourself, Akriti, that ये जो सामने बैठे हैं ना, ये सब idiots हैं. मैं IIM कोझिकोड आई हूँ because I've worked hard. My caliber is more. Tell yourself, reassure yourself, tell all positive into your head and keep telling, I'm not going to be disturbed by them, it's okay. And that she says that Auntie did help me. It's not that she was completely smooth free. She had blocks, but it helped. Again, somebody on this group earlier mentioned about breathing techniques. Oh, very useful.
Yeah. Di- Deepika Goyal, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she talks
Deepika.
about it.
Hi, Deepika.
Hi,
Breathing tech.
Deepika. I hope I'm making sense and not speaking in a in my own tangent.
No, no, no. I mean, are you I mean able to see her, right? Like,
Yeah, I can see a little bit because little
yeah,
tiny thing is
yeah,
coming.
tiny
Yeah.
thing.
Hi, Deepika.
Nice, nice. Yeah, she's
Hi,
a
hi dear, hi.
I often read what you write, and I've never responded because you write well and you make a sense of what a lot of points. Good.
um
Uh, 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 uh,
thank you, Deepika. Uh, so my next, I mean, thanks for answering it in a way. I mean, focusing only on stammering, as you said, like it is much more uh, I mean, much more to the topic. And thank you so much for that, for correcting me.
No, I'm
uh,
sorry if I was out of line. Please
no,
forgive me.
no, no, no. I'm also learning in each interview. So yeah, please. um, so you have shared about your views about the support groups in India, and also how it's still now in a, I mean, early stage, and people are still not able to uh, be okay, I mean, not able to understand the value of it, I would say. So what do you think will be the right way to make people change their mind about this? Because uh, we can go and talk to institutions, but sometimes it is not reach. We are not able to cross the barrier and reach people's thought process or things like that. So, what do you suggest from your point of view?
From my point of view, I think the virtual medium is very powerful, Vidya. I face the trouble myself. I associated myself with a lot of hospitals. Okay? So I go there, I talk to people. But again, at times the corporate hospitals have their own agenda, institutes. I'm not blaming anybody. Okay, they're out there to make money. Yes, Sometimes they say कि आप एक hospital से associate हो जाओ. So you start a support group in one particular hospital. फिर आप बाकी hospital से मत करो. So all those agendas come up.
Mm,
So then I realized one day, and to answer initially, you asked me what brought about this happiness after cancer. I realized during COVID that even सबके हाथ में phone है, correct? सबके हाथ में, and it's very powerful medium. The only thing what we need to do is use that medium and to reach out. So we need to go all out for it.
yeah.
Let's put up things. Let's use this social media. वो तो हर एक, all girls, boys, बुजुर्ग, बुड्ढे, everybody is doing, social media. We all have phones in our hand for time pass है, for information है. So let's talk about it. Let's use this medium so that we can reach out to that someone somewhere जिसको टीसा का नहीं पता है, जो नहीं जानता कि ऐसा सपोर्ट ग्रुप एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है, उसकी फीड में भी हम आ जाएं अगर. Do you understand? So the idea is, if you go and talk to, yes, for stammerers, yes, I'm sure schools might be a very good option. I'm sure you guys must already be doing it. That we could, you could reach out to schools, counselors, and tell them, that we have this thing called TISA, and if you have children, if you have a little girl or a little boy, or if you have anybody, but if you can catch them young, we will be helping them reduce their traumatic time.
Yeah.
ठीक है. और अक्सर क्या होता है, बहुत सारे क्वैक्स बैठे हैं, as we all know. There's plenty of quack market also. So that child is somewhere who's just started growing and is facing stammering. Unnecessarily, that path is going to be, that road is going to be more long and difficult. Schools are very good schools mein to, and these days schools are very receptive. So as this as an established organization, if your volunteers, if we have, can reach out, to principals, to colleges, but I think primarily schools ज़्यादा होना चाहिए हमारा. Hospitals में तो है ही है, speech therapist को हम consult करें to bring them on board with us.
And also, there can be support groups for parents who,
Yes,
yeah,
correct.
and also an awareness scheme or like all those things also can. Yeah, I think TISA is already into that. That's wonderful.
So then that will help, really help,
Yeah, yeah.
And some parents somewhere जिसको नहीं पता वो बच्चे से कैसे डील करे, at times उसको डांटेगा, तू ठीक से बोल बोल लेगा, तू कोशिश तो कर. वो पेरेंट भी गलत नहीं है, उसको पता ही नहीं उसको डील कैसे करना है. वो चाइल्ड तो है ही है, वो बच्चा जितनी भी कोशिश कर रहा है उसे निधि नहीं बोलना चाह रहा, वो क्या करे, वो लड़की नहीं बोलना चाह रहा निधि. The parent is also right, the stammer is also right. So we, you guys as TISA can fit the gap, can fill in that gap, and a bridge can be formed.
Yeah, I believe we are doing that, I guess, because there are so many things in parallel is happening in TISA. And being a new member, I mean, each and every day I come to know some wonderful thing that TISA is doing in different sectors of society, which is incredible
Yeah.
to learn and to be a part of this
Yeah.
group. So you said like you have been silent member in TISA. So what, I mean, like, so I mean, how long have you been with
I
TISA
think
now?
it was, I think maybe 21, I think 21 or
Oh,
22.
2021. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Okay.
think. Because there was this girl called Pooja from Mumbai,
Okay.
and a BTech student, I think. So like I spoke to her a few times, and it was COVID, peak COVID was happening, and then there was some Zoom meeting was there. I connected there also, but I'll be honest, the fault is mine. I didn't go all log for it because
Yes,
the
I
happens after
understand.
take cancer takes a lot of my time.
Yeah.
So
No, but it's nice to get your, as an observer, your viewpoint also. Like, it's nice. Uh, so that was
yeah. So I've been
I.
following the threads. So that's why I knew about ADHD thread. I knew about the
Uh,
breathing techniques. So you guys are doing a really good job. And if I'm useful somewhere, then feel free to reach out to me.
yeah, please. Uh, uh, I will also send you the main WhatsApp. I mean, are you there in the main WhatsApp group?
Well, I'm only in this one. What does it say? It says IW something.
Okay, I will send you the invite for the main group also.
Okay.
There will be more updates in that on a daily basis.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Um, so my next question is, my last question is like, do you have any final thoughts or reflections that you would like to share with us?
Mm, I've repeated it, but I still reiterate it that I all of us have to think and keep saying self-love is very important, because if we are self-assured, if we love ourselves, as you say, acceptance, we will be able to do far better where we stand today. And make a note. Well, I have my own personal what do I say, a little booklet, little things, a little folder, not booklet is a very strong word, big word, little folder where I have put tips, and which I help with use other children who reach out to me. So I have realized that calming ourselves down with a calm mind, we will be having a calmer speech, calm thought process. So calmness is very important, especially for us people.
No.
Often children say to me that auntie, वो वर्ड निकल ही नहीं रहा था मुझसे, वो निकल ही नहीं रहा था, तो मुझे था मैं इसको बस फटाफट निकाल दूं. Wrong. वर्ड नहीं निकल रहा ना. See, just now, नहीं, no, again, right? वर्ड नहीं निकल रहा था ना. Pause. Stop. Breathe. Breathe. सामने वाले से इंटिमिडेट मत हो. Don't get intimidated by someone who's standing in front. If you're important to him, he will stand there and listen to you. And if he is not interested in what you're speaking, let him go. Let him or she go away. It doesn't matter. Don't care for other people. Think about yourself. And of course, as we all know, singing helps hugely. I'm sure all of us stutterers, 90% of us, हम जब गाना गाएंगे तो नहीं stammer करेंगे.
No. Yeah,
Why?
that's true.
Why? Because, it's a prolonging.
Mm,
When I
mm.
started initially my therapy, that man used to tell me, the doctor, तुम गा के बोलो ना, मेरा नाम निधि है. And I was like, that's ridiculous. मैं क्लास में खड़ी हूँ कि कैसे गाऊंगी ना. तो इसे तो क्या हो जाएगा, लोग क्या बोलेंगे. तुम तो अभी भी तो तुम्हारा मजाक उड़ा ही रहे हैं ना वो, तो दूसरा मजाक उड़ा लेंगे कि ये तो कैसे बोलती है, मेरा नाम निधि है, ऐसे बोल लो तुम. And I realized that makes sense. That either way, they're already making fun of you. So you do what is good for
Mm,
yourself.
mm,
And if
yeah,
you anticipate a block, you know what block is, right, Vidya? Yeah.
yeah.
So if you anticipate a block, then before that block, take a pause, breathe, tell your mind, calm down, it's okay, it's not a big deal. Don't be in a rush to finish that block. The moment we मैं फटाक से बोल दूं, वो जल्दी में बोला ही नहीं जाएगा हमसे. हम will be caught.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
It's
like
like
if
there
you,
is a, sorry, continue.
yeah, you're right what you're going to say.
No,
It's
it's
like
like you're,
correct. So
yeah.
we can understand, both of us know what we are saying, right? The more we try to speak, get it out, the more it's getting inside.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
So it's the same. So I can connect what happens. I can understand. But I will still say, I know it's boring and you'll always say, aunties going on, and children, don't do this to yourself. Just love yourself. Love yourself. The moment you love yourself, you'll be accepting yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
True.
develop a style. Often, okay, and this very interesting thing I have to share before I stop talking. Children, my own sons say this to me all the time that Mama, जब आप हमसे बात करते हो, आपकी टोन डिफरेंट है. जब आप आउटसाइडर्स से बात करते हो, आपकी टोन डिफरेंट है. And we often feel get up fake करते हो. Now this is a real life example. Okay. First time when they told me, that was years ago, I was like, I felt very hurt. What are you trying to say, that I'm a fake? And I thought and I thought and I thought. And I realized that maybe there's my sons. They see me full time 24/7, right? So they have seen, they were children. कि हमारी mother जब हमसे बात करती है एक different है because she's natural, you know. तो तब वो fast बोल लेती है because she's not fearful of being judged. And the moment she's outside, because she has mastered practiced the technique that मुझे गा के बोलना है, मुझे एक particular style से बोलना है. So they thought it was fake. So that's when I told them that children, I used to stammer and I still stammer. And this is all a part of this. So for me, it works well when I speak in a particular fashion.
Yeah.
So this episode I'm sharing with you all today because we all need to develop that particular style which works for us. And it doesn't matter if the whole world thinks the artificial, it works for me. So I'm good with it. So find that style for yourself. Find what works for yourself. And there are 1,000 styles. Trust me, not one style.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I understand. But there is another viewpoint to it, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah.
Because I also had this kind of a internal fight. I mean, I might be wrong in saying this, or like I tried creating my own style, but as you said, uh, I started to feel that I was not being true to myself. Like that pushed me to come to an acceptance. Like it's fine if I stammer, but it's me. That kind of a thought process came. So I think like basically whatever makes us feel the best and good, I think that should be the takeaway, because at the end of the day, you should able to live with yourself. Like,
That's very true. I
mm,
totally agree with you, Vidya. See,
mm,
for me, for example, when we talk about manifest, what you said just now, for me, manifestation was very important. Even as a young girl, when I couldn't speak a line, I had this thing, I think, at the back of my head that one day when I speak, the whole world will listen. Of course, that didn't happen. I'm no celebrity, but whatever. So, as a result, when I was studying, I learned computer programming, and I got those were days when the computer had just turned up. The advent of Windows had started. So I got a job as a programmer in Ranbaxy, which is a
mm,
good company, a
mm,
software programmer.
mm,
So I decided not to take it up.
mm,
And
mm,
my father told me, my mom told me, it's a good paying job. And why are you not taking it? I said, no, I don't want to take it up. Because for me, it was very important to prove to myself, for my own validation, that I have overcome my stammering. So I took a job as a computer instructor instead
mm,
of a programmer.
mm,
Again, what you said just now, correcting and being on the same lines to being true to yourself. For me, it was that अगर मैं programmer की job ले लेती हूँ, so I'll be quiet and being a programmer. Of course, in
mm.
hindsight wisdom, I'm very sad because I would have made quite a lot of money that way. So that's another.
Yeah, yeah, I
Well, God has
understand
different
that.
plans for all of us. But at that point of time, it was boom, and America and everything happened, right? Oh, they're like AI has just now come up. The programmers have minted money all over the globe. So, but I decided for me it was very important. So let's look into yourself and say, what is important for me? For me, it was very important to be able to stand up in front of a crowd and talk because I in my head thought I was a great orator. It's like
Mhm.
funny, but whatever. And I can deliver very well, I can speak very well. और अगर मैं stammer नहीं करती तो मैं बहुत अच्छी orator हूँ. That's what I felt as a child.
That all these are true.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. But okay, not enough is true. So I decided that नहीं, मुझे तो class लेनी है. I still remember vividly when I walked into that class at the age of 21, and computer students are all grown-ups. There were people like me, as old as me, or older than me at that point of time. My heart was like, shit, Nidhi, you've made a blunder. You should. आज की क्लास बस हो जाने दे. Take this class and tomorrow go back to Ranbaxy and do that job again. But it just gave me a kick. I was happy teaching, doing stage things. So that's it.
Oh, wow. I was actually, I think I forgot to ask this question, especially the computer thing.
Yeah.
I think oh my God, it's there in here. I think I
Yeah, yeah. I
skipped it.
remember, so I told myself, don't worry, don't worry.
Thank you so much. That was actually a very inspiring story that you shared in the WhatsApp. What I mean, the mindset that you had to come out of the comfort zone and challenge yourself, that switch in taking risks, and especially in a high stake environment, uh, that is something which needs so much of self talk and self motivation to. I believe, if I'm wrong, if I'm,
Yes, it does take.
yeah.
And I often feel, I put my foot in the door at times. I like keep telling myself, oh, ये नहीं हो रहा ना, अब ये तो करना ही पड़ेगा मुझे. So I have that kind of idiosyncrasy, let's put it that
So,
way.
like, I mean, can you tell it in English so that I can get you
Yeah.
correctly?
For me, it's like, if I'm unable to do something, then it's like, it's I just, oh, no, no, I need to try to do this. I
Ah,
have to do this.
yeah,
It's like
I
that kind of a
completely
stupid bug.
understand that. I'm very much like that, actually.
Oh,
Thank you.
so, for you, I would say it's very commendable to start a podcast series when you yourself stammer. So it's very commendable. It's again
Thank
doing it,
you.
coming out of your comfort zone
Thank you
and
so much.
helping others. I'm sure what you've decided to do would help so many other people.
It's
Because
actually,
बहुत ज़्यादा, it's very nice to see, to hear someone who herself stammers and yet she's taken interview.
I mean, I have to thank Sachin, Dr. Sachin, on this, because he was the one who was like, why can't you do that? I was like, exactly like how you said, I want to do it because I want to come out of the comfort zone. And when he gave this opportunity to me, I'm very, very thankful to him for that. Yeah, yeah, it has been a wonderful experience for me so far.
Mm.
Yeah. So I will now request audience to share their um, views and I mean ask any questions.
Before the audience starts in, I'm going to apologize, children and audience, if I've been long and preachy, but I had too many things which I thought might be useful to others.
It was really, really, really helpful. Thank you so much. One minute.
Hi, Nidhi. It was very nice to hear you and share all your experiences with us. And like, I'm also 60 years old and I had been facing with this stammering issue from the age of 4. And I could overcome it without any speech therapist, just by trial and error method, the way you said that you need to know what technique suits you best.
Correct.
And exactly that is how, by trial and error, I could overcome it by the time I became 40, 45. And that struggle, that fight to overcome it. Because see, in job, means there are your colleagues, who try to pull your legs always just because you stammer, and they try to overpower you, and they want you to be insulted in front of the seniors, though you have the merits. So, somewhere that fire is there that I have to prove myself.
Correct.
only this stammering cannot hold me back. So that is how I tried to face it, and I wanted to overcome it the way you exactly said, that uh, somewhere you feel that you should be heard. So my main like the techniques that I used is always look into the eyes of the person, and what exactly you said, that I will feel that I'm equal and above the person whom I'm facing. Even with the bosses, I used to always have because as you said, that though we are intelligent, that is been suppressed just because we stammer.
Yeah.
That happens many a times. So and if you go prepared, like if you foresee, okay, now I have to deal with these many situations, if this comes, then I will deal it in this manner. So if you are prepared yourself, then it is very easy, like the way you said, it synchronizes well. Then your
That's a
talk as
beautiful
well as your
sentence. I
thoughts.
missed it. Thank you so much. Yes, preparation. Be
Yeah.
prepared. That was very important point. Correct. Absolutely.
In fact, I always tell, like I had been to an NC, and whenever these boys or the girls meet, because see, acceptance I can understand, we have to accept, but that should not be the last thing. How to overcome it should be the goal. And the
Correct.
young generation, they will never like that, it will remain, means by accepting, if it is going to remain with them forever, they might not get that level of comfort. They feel it is of no use. If we are going to be like this forever, then no, it
What's the
doesn't make
point?
any sense to me. So we have to give them the hope that it is acceptance, so that you can try to speak and try to face it boldly. So I always tell them that go to people whom you fear the most. Like if you are studying in a school, go to the principal, meet the teachers. You carry a cheat with you that I am a stammerer, I might talk slow, please understand me and listen to me. Suppose if you keep stammering before only, then at least show that cheat to the principal so that he or she can understand you and will give you
Correct.
the chance. If you are worried about going to a police station, go to the police station even if there is no opportunity. You create an opportunity, go to face the situation, go into that situation. So I think that is what you really said, and I'm so happy that it was very much like similar to my experiences. And I tell them it is not required always to go to a speech therapist. It is how you overcome your fear.
Correct.
And
Overcoming
yeah,
fear, that's very, very
exactly.
important. And when we say acceptance, we are not saying, I accept the fact that I'm a stammerer. No, acceptance
Stammering.
of who I am as a person.
Exactly, as a
Exactly,
person.
exactly. And also, this acceptance is like the starting point from where we can actually work on whatever the techniques is. Because acceptance take out the huge block in our mind where
Exactly.
we put so much of pressure to become perfect that we tend to it's like a letting go of the control at the same time gaining. It's a very fine thread to cross. So that's why I feel like self acceptance plays a huge role in that. This I learned through, I mean, art, because while doing watercolors, it is so
Hmm.
important to lose control and let the water and the color make the magic on the paper. That's how it is. Like that's why I feel like self acceptance plays a huge role in giving the right mindset to use any techniques. Mm.
Correct.
Exactly.
Absolutely
And
correct.
in fact, as you rightly said, the pausing techniques helps a lot. Means like we are being taught in TISA. Like I also joined TISA recently during COVID, just to see whether I can be of any help, at least to
Mm.
give a hope to those who stammer that yes, you can overcome it. But it needs perseverance. It needs efforts. You can. It is not a magic. You have to work on it yourself, and it is
And
you who can bring you out of the situation, not
yes.
others.
And as I said, when we read the literature on stammering on the Google and you read the scientific things, they say, I mean, मुझे नहीं पता था up till now, that there's something called genetic stuttering. But if it is there, then well, I'm a classic case of genetic stuttering. Because as I told in the beginning of my cha-cha stammers, my taiji stammers, my cousin stammers. So I'm like, if I can overcome it, children, you know,
Exactly.
all of us can do it. As
Very
she is
true.
saying, just a technique which we both have, mastered.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's very nice to know. Very similar experience.
Oh, yes. Where do you stay?
I stay in Borivali, Mumbai.
Is that in Bombay?
Yeah, Bombay.
Okay. I stay in Delhi.
Oh, I see. Okay. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah.
Had you not been to Delhi National Conference last year in
No,
2022?
I didn't go there.
Okay, it didn't go, didn't come because we had been there. It
Oh,
was a
So,
okay.
very nice experience. And
Uh,
the boys, generally the young generation boys, those who go to college and all, they get so scared of talking to girls. So they always say कि मैडम आप हमसे बात करना फोन के ऊपर हमको बहुत डर लगता है ऐसे
uh,
डरने की कोई बात नहीं है like see we cannot just tell them that you accept and be like this. We have to tell them that you accept so that you will get that boldness to talk and overcome it. That is
correct.
how the acceptance has to work actually.
Correct.
Because if they see that okay, after accepting still we are stammering a lot, so then they feel that it doesn't make any sense for them.
Yeah, then they'll stop working on it. No, see,
Yes,
everything is
exactly.
you work and you see result. It's
Very
not
true.
right. See, we all are staying in result oriented, not society, I would say, but for own personal growth also. We always
Exactly.
want to do better than what we are,
Better
isn't
than
it?
what we are.
Because
Yes.
because of this personal growth, we've come from village to rocket and to AI because of growth, evolution. So
Exactly.
acceptance of ourselves, but at the same time improving. My basic idea, motive of doing this interview was this reason, primarily
Very true.
this, that
Good.
that if I can do it, I hope
Yeah.
somewhere, anybody, it might help.
Very true. And techniques should not be just limited to what are being taught. Actually, we are the ones who can introduce ourselves to the best technique which suits us. Even like modulation, voice modulation, like the way
Yes,
you said for you N used to give trouble, for me it was K. And I used to always go to the Kalina University in which I was. Means there is a Kalina Open University in Mumbai. So the bus stop is Kalina University, and I could not say Kalina University. So now I had to buy the ticket. The conductor used to keep asking. So then I thought instead of Kalina, I'll say Kulina, Kalina, Kulina. He will understand. That I knew.
correct, correct,
So
correct.
gradually, then I means I realized that okay, I can tell the conductor and get the ticket by saying
Yeah.
this. And later on, when I started saying Kalina, even I did not realize. Means automatically, then I gained that confidence, and I was fluent in saying Kalina also.
You will not
So
believe,
that is how it
like
develops.
till date, of course, like most
Mhm.
of the couriers don't happen. These everything is, but at times courier wale they ask you your name, naam bataiye apna. So when I
Yeah.
say Nidhi, even now, sometimes Nidhi will not come out. So I say Nidhi. So he looks
Oh,
at me
great.
so like quizzically, कि what is this woman name? This spelling क्यों बोल रही है अपने नाम का? I don't care now.
Yeah,
Because I
exactly.
know that he's just, instinctively. Now I'm going to stammer. So I just say
Yeah.
Nidhi.
I guess many PWs use that technique,
Mhm.
spelling out the name unnecessarily wherever it is required.
So many times, when
Uh,
so many times when I know I'm going to stammer on Nidhi, there's अच्छा आपका नाम बताइए निधि. You say निधि ये कैसा
Yeah.
नाम है N-double-E. I say हाँ N-double-E लिख दो. Who cares I've been
Yeah.
able to say my name. That's enough for me.
uh,
That's what I wanted to say, and I'm really happy that you share the same thoughts that I do, and it's great to see you on the platform. Thank you so much.
Same here. Thank you so much. It was a
um,
pleasure talking to you.
so we have, audience wants to share any other questions or comments, please.
If anybody would like to reach out to me personally at any given point of time, I'm there on the group. please feel free to drop a message. Welcome anytime.
Hi, Nidhi. Hi,
Hi, Deepika.
hi. So it was a very useful conversation. So I I I had I uh, uh, learned lots of things while listening to you, and it was very uh, uh, warm, and you are a very ex 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 pre- ex progressive per- per- uh, person. So I I really means felt ve- ve- very good listening to you. So I think it was a wonderful conversation.
Thank you, Deepika, for such warm, nice words. I'm so grateful to you. Often I read, so that's what you post. Often you write very sensibly. You have made important points. So that's why I remembered about ADHD, your breathing techniques. You write very sensibly.
Okay. Th thank you. I I uh, I feel so good about that.
What do you do, Deepika? Are you a student or are you working?
No, actually, I am a uh, uh, mother. So I I have two kids growing up, and so uh, um, uh, and I'm also d- uh, a developer, but I don't um, work. So I'm at home at home.
You don't work, you work at home, and working at home is ask me. We are the greatest workers
Yeah,
this planet can have. So don't dare
yes,
say I don't work. Looking after two children is a full time, 24/7 task.
yes.
Wow. Thank you, Deepika. Deepika was the first guest in this podcast series, and
Oh,
she was, oh God, I was too tensed to start this, and she was there giving me advices to calm down. It was very useful. Amazing person.
Okay,
Um,
Nidhi, I just wanted to ask you one more thing.
yeah.
Uh, I have observed many a times about the stammerers that, whenever they speak to others, any unknown or even to known people, face to face or even on telephone, they stammer a lot. But I tell them that you do one thing, you record a passage, you read it out loud and do the recording. And whenever they do that, and I tell them that you post that audio to me, I have observed, they means you won't even realize that they stammer.
Yes. This
So,
happens all
so
the time, Mans. All
yes,
the
so
time.
means this is like a phobia that they have. I feel many a times the fear in
Mansi,
their
how? Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So
What was the last line? What did you say?
I said the phobia means like
Yeah, I understand.
facing the situation and the fear in the mind that I'm going to stammer.
True,
It
true,
is like
true.
a vicious circle, you can say, that
Yes,
that you lose the confidence, you stammer more. The more you lose the confidence, the more you stammer.
Okay, now the good question and very good observation, and we need to discuss it. Same thing used to happen to me. Okay, you know how I'll tell you what I tell children who come to me. Okay, I'm not a therapist or anything, but over the years, as you say, we've mastered so much. We have so much knowledge. We
Exactly.
can help others. So what I tell children, how I lead them on. A, as you said, read and record. Okay, read kiya, record kiya. You've realized that you don't stammer. So next is call one person. It might be friend, father, mother, sister, anybody. Start with one person. Then do that for a few weeks or a month, depending. Then graduate on to two people. So slowly and slowly and slowly. First step is reading, of course, as we all know. First step is looking at the mirror, basic technique, and reading, correct?
Yeah.
Second part is recording and listening. Third part, as Mansi says, is happening when these same people, when they're speaking to an audience. So
Right.
there are two things that we need to do here. A is practice. We are not used to, for example, when I started doing it, I was comfortable talking to a mirror in a closed room, correct? But I was not comfortable talking to an audience. So I started with one person as an audience, two, three, then slowly and slowly it graduated onto a room full of people, unknown people. So practice there. And second thing, fear of, not fear, it's that what Vidya used initially when she started, anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, कि आज तो बहुत सारे लोग बैठे हैं. Oh my God, I cannot stammer. So that same person who in a closed room, as Mansi said, जब वो record कर रहा है, he or she is not stammering. When an audience they are stammering, that block is coming to them. So what do? Again, auto suggestion and practice. Start with one person, and importantly, start doing it. What we have, what I call in my terminology, non-scientific things, is like study group or like speaking group. Get hold of two or three people. They might be
Exactly.
your friends or your families, and then start practicing. That might help.
Yeah. I to tell them that, you start from telling jokes, because while
Mm,
saying jokes, you are more comfortable.
correct.
And you can twist it in any way. It should not be like in a sequence. You can make it, sound little, means you can change it as per your comfort level also. The
Exactly.
language and the toning and the wordings and all that.
Correct.
So you have to do that in front of your parents or your siblings, those in front of whom you are more comfortable. Means you need to gain the comfort level basically, which is important.
Yes. The moment you're comfortable, then anxiety will be reduced. The
Reduce. Yeah,
moment you're
calmness will
comfortable,
come.
again, another tip for girls, especially, and boys also,
Mhm.
I would, not especially girls, for both the genders. If you are going somewhere to an interview or to a party, make sure you dress up properly. Why? Because dressing up will give you that, comfort.
Confidence.
I'm looking
Yeah,
nice. You're not
exactly.
doing for others. Remember, this is a misconception कि हम लोगों के लिए तैयार हो रहे हैं. Rubbish. Cancer
Right.
patients, so they turn bald. उनके तो बाल खो जाते हैं. And the medicines bloat you, unlike the Bollywood, which shows that you become frail. That doesn't happen. 90% of the time, you bloat because the steroids are there. So yet we tell patients, dress up and come for your treatment. Because that makes you feel good about yourself.
Good about yourself. Yeah, right.
Address one point, like when you there's something called a social model of stammering. So the social model of stammering is something we have to talk about. Even speech pathologists are not, especially in India, they don't have much knowledge about it. So I feel like stammering should not be viewed as a thing that we have to overcome to be a good orator. Absolutely, it's my view, because I don't think that would, because everybody speak differently. There are people who do lot of gestures and speak. There are people who are very uh, um scarce in their body language. So it's all like the accessibility in interpersonal communication, the inclusivity in the interpersonal communication. That should be the, I think, one of the most fundamental thing that we have to have conversation and have to understand from the basis. It's
I agree.
that, yeah.
I agree with what Vidya is saying. To an extent, what Vidya is saying is a very valid point. Dekho, at the end of the day, what is communication? Communication is expressing my idea to Vidya right now, correct? It might be done in whatever language. And what you said again is true, that a large number of good, established, esteemed orators don't speak fluently. Some of them do, some of them do, some of them do, you know what I'm going to say, you know what I'm going to say. So all of them have, so yet they are orators. So that's a valid point again. Yes, I agree with it there.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, like, yeah, we can talk about this a lot, later in the, I mean, hopefully in another episode. I really want to talk to you more about certain things, Nidhi, in detail. Probably we can do another podcast episode
Sure.
in
I would,
future.
and before, yes, it's a mistake on my part. I admit I should have been more active. So please give me that push, and give me that nudge, and let me know how and where I can be useful.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming here and sharing your life experiences with us. It was truly amazing, and you shared a lot of things which we will go home and think. I mean, go home in the sense like after the podcast is over, we will be thinking about it for days. Thank you so much for that. Thanks, and thanks to the, I mean, audience for being so patient till the end of the podcast to share your views and I mean, ask questions. Thanks again. Yeah, I will end the recording now.
Yeah, thank you,
Uh,
Vidya, so much for giving this wonderful opportunity. And TISA is doing a really good job. And Deepika and Mansi, it was pleasure meeting and talking to both of you. I really hope we can do more such interactive sessions and do a little 2 cents in this ocean.
Thank
Sure.
you. Thank
Same
you.
from our
Yes,
side too, Nidhi.
yes,
Thank
yeah.
you so much,
Bye-bye.
I
dear.
think
Thanks, Vidya. Thank
that
you.
is good. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. See you.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care.